Okay, so what we have done so far, let's quickly recapitulate what we have done so far. So our motive was to create MongoDB and MongoExpress. Okay, we created first Mongo deployment, which is basically a pod for the Mongo. Okay, generally up to this much you will get it from the template itself. If you go to the Kubernetes documentation, you will find it over there. But this part, the environment one, it's basically specific to the container that you are going to use. So we are going to use the Mongo. So if you go into the Docker hub, you will find some basic environment variable. If that is required, so you have to use that one. Okay. This value and the secret part comes from the secrets. Okay. We actually
Mm.
store our username and the password here. And then we reference this secret into our Mongo deployment one. Okay. With the name of value from secret reference, the Mongo secrets. This name should be exact to this one. Okay. Mongo secrets.
Yeah.
And then the key that you are using. This key is basically this one, username. Okay. Not this one. So if you type root user, so you have to keep the key name as a root user. Okay. So this will create our Mongo pod. And to create our Mongo pod, you have to first create the secret, because the secret reference, then it will be established or get fetched by this pod. Otherwise, if you first create the pod and then you do the secrets, then there will be a mismatch plus conflict. Uh, okay, because it doesn't know where it is coming from, and it will search for this Mongo secret. And since you have not created this Mongo secret, so it will find it difficult to find, and then it will throw some errors. That's the issue. So that's why you always first create the Mongo secret, then go for the Mongo deployment. Clear? Understood?
Yes.
Okay. Then after we created the service file. So service file, you can create a separate one or you can engage into a single one. So here we are doing into a single one. Everything will be similar. For Mongo, you will be using the port number of 27017. Okay. This
Mm.
is for the internal call. And then after we created a config file, which will basically redirect to your Mongo service. The purpose of Mongo service is to provide a connection or a unique IP address to your pods. So this
Mm.
API config, uh, either I can create in the same file. I can create by giving enter and then do dash 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 and create your secrets. But it will be specific to this file only, which we don't want. We want it that it should be a universal one so that any other component can use this config file.
Mm.
So that's why we made it over here. And database URL we are providing as Mongo service. So this will create our URL with our Mongo service, and it will be an internal one, not the external one. Okay. Did we do any changes over here? No. Okay. Then after we come to our Mongo Express. Everything will remain same, just like MongoDB, what we have done. The only thing
Mm.
that we will change over here is the environment variable. It takes three environment variables. First is the Mongo config, uh, me config MongoDB administrator username, which is same as your secrets. Okay, nothing different. Again, same for admin password, which is same as your secrets. And the last one is your URL one. Okay, so for that you need to take out this one, Mongo config. Since this URL is located in our config file, so we will take this name, okay, metadata name in our config. We will keep it over here, this name. And the key database URL is this, the variable name, config, this database URL.
Mm.
So far, so good.
Yes.
Can you tell me how many pods we are having currently?
Two.
Two. Okay. And how many service we are having?
Two service.
How to service? So far, we have only one service, and that is this one. We need to create another service for this Mongo Express.
MongoExpress. Okay. Huh.
Enter API version, kind is the service, metadata, Mongo service. Okay.
Hmm.
Then spec, selector, app will be MongoExpress. It should be same as your this label. Okay.
Yeah.
Then your ports. Okay. We are giving not one port, multiple ports we have to provide over here. Okay. Protocol TCP, and this port number 8081. 8081 is the default port number for your MongoExpress.
MongoExpress.
Now, the thing is, this MongoExpress is going to be connected with your external services, right? Because
Yes.
external service basically URL from the user perspective, and that URL will be then go to your MongoDB, and then the further works will happen. But you require something which is the external one. So for that we use a type called load balancer. This type is basically help you whenever there is any URL that you want to redirect, like the external service URL. If I want to redirect, you have to use and you direct to where? You direct to my this URL. Basically, when the user will click the URL, so there should be a connection to our IP address of this one. It will provide an IP address, but since there is no connection happen yet with the external URL to your pod, so this load balancer take care of that one. But the thing is, this load balancer is located in a different port number. Okay, so that port number named as NodePort, which is equal to, which is between 30,000 to 30,000 something range. Let's look into this one. I'll just save it.
Okay.
Kubernetes project. This one. Here it is. So we looked into the service config file. This is for the detail verification. This is for the pod deployment, authentication part, config map. We looked into that one as well. And then what? Config configuration. We've done all these things. Yeah, here it is. External service part. So
Okay.
if you see, we'll be having a two service file. Okay, we require two service file, one for the Mongo, other for the MongoExpress. For Mongo, we created the internal one. For MongoExpress, which will be connected with our external service. Okay, external service basically means where the user can interact. Okay, so everything will remain the same except this a new type will be introduced as an attribute. Okay, whose value will be load balancer. Why load balancer? Because we are dealing with the external IP address. Whenever you deal with the external IP address, you use load balancer. Okay. Assign service and external IP address, and so accepts external request. External request basically the request from the user or the customer side. And for if you're using this load balancer, you need a separate port number for that one, which is between 30,000 to 32,767. Okay. So the port number, any port number between this you can give. That's completely fine. We have given 30,001. Okay.
Okay.
So
It's for the load balancer, no?
yeah, it's for the load balancer
Oh, okay.
when you have to connect with the external service.
Hmm.
So I'll just go over here. kubectl. Let's see, get all. What do we have? So far we have one service. Okay, for the Mongo, this is the default service, which we do not read. And if you see their default type is cluster IP. Okay. What happened? Default type number, type name is given because there is no external connection. If there is no external connection, this IP address will be located in your cluster, Kubernetes cluster. So that's why they have given a this one. And if you see, they don't have any external IP because they are not connected with the other users, means customer interface, client interface, kind of. We have two pods, okay, one service, two deployments, and two replica sets. The number of pod will be there, the same number of replica set you will find over here. Okay, everything is up and running. Now we need to create kubectl create, not create, apply -f. It should be the MongoExpress deployment, right? So if you see, there is no change in the Mongo deployment, but there is a service got created. Now if I do kubectl get all, so if you see over here, what you got? A load balancer, type as a load balancer, okay, a cluster IP, okay. But here in the external, you are getting one more IP address, which is the pending one. Pending one, I'll show you, means it is going to be created. And our this one, this is for the load balancer port number which we created, okay. For the external, whenever there is external, you require to have a node port number between 30,000 to 30,200 something. And this one is redirecting to your 8081, which is our MongoExpress port number. And rest of the thing will remain same, no changes. Now I'm going to start this service, okay. Right now this is pending now. So you need to start. And to start, so far we were doing kubectl command, okay. But since this is going to be linked with the external IP address, you have to use minikube service and the service name. Which service you want to
Hello. Hello.
connect with remote server? It's visible.
Yes.
Okay. So we are going to type the command minikube service and the service name MongoExpress, and then press enter. So it will take you to the page automatically, a URL, and the default one is the admin, and then pass, sign in, and see, we got connected with our MongoExpress.
And
You can.
yesterday what happened? What error was coming?
The error was we were not using, everything was correct. Nothing we didn't use. We used the service one. Okay. But the issue was we didn't apply this load balancer and the NodePort. How will
Hmm.
it talk to the external service? That's the issue. Even though you
Hmm.
created the service, but until unless cluster IP is only for the internal purpose. This
Hmm.
cluster IP type, if it is by default the cluster IP you will get. So we didn't specify the type, and because of that, it was unable to connect with the external service without having any port number. Okay, so you can
Okay.
see the Mongo Express is now running in this port number, which is we
Hmm.
define 3001. Okay,
Hmm. Okay.
starting tunneling Mongo services. It may redirect to other one, but the original one is this one. Okay,
Hmm.
and that's all. Our project is started. You can create multiple projects over here. Okay, your database. Just go and create your database like DevOps, and then you create it. Okay. So whenever you start, you will always find this database over here.
Hmm.
So if I stop over here, and if you want to start the service again, I can stop the service. Control C if
Hmm.
I'll do, it will stop the service. But if I want to run it again, right now it won't. So see, it is not running right now. What
Hmm.
happened? Right. So if I want to start it back again, I'll just type the same command. Okay. Mongo service and whatever the service where you want to run on, and then it will redirect. Let me and pass. Fine. So see, the DevOps which we created is already here
Okay.
because the pod that we are using is the MongoDB pod,
Hmm.
and that pod is already there. So until unless pod is not destroyed, your data will be always there. And pod cannot be destroyed because it is dependent upon the deployment. If you delete the deployment, then only your pod will be or your data will be lost. So be careful with that one. Any more question or
Okay.
confusion with this one?
And what's the use of those username and password which we gave in the deployment?
This is
In-
for the internal purpose. When you connect with the external
Okay.
one, okay,
Hmm.
they provide you their own admin and password. Those get
Hmm.
redirected to your deployment. This config one,
Hmm.
MongoDB. Okay. So those come here and then they checked over here, matches, and then they pass it. So there has
Okay.
to be in between Mongo Express and MongoDB, there should be a single one, single password
Hmm.
in the user, which we mentioned over here. But to connect with the Mongo Express, they provide you their own default password. Okay, password and admin. Though that can be changed for the organization wise, but internal there should be one password which should be common between Mongo and Mongo Express, both. If it is not common, if I use different, then it won't get
Hmm.
connected with the MongoDB.
Okay.
Okay,
Hmm.
so try this one and
Hmm.
couple of more projects from your side which contain
Okay.
some database. Okay.
Hmm.
Then next class we will look into the namespace, ingress. Okay. I was creating the content of this. Let me stop this one.